Hello, I'm Ray Bradshaw and this is a Scottish Football Podcast. All the news, views and analysis you need on Tuesday the 16th of December. And there's a managerial change at Kilmarnock.
Kilmarnock have relieved manager Stuart Kettlewell and assistant Stephen Frail of their duties with immediate effect. It follows a 10-match winless run, including 8 defeats, with the side sitting second bottom of the Premiership.
10 league games without a win in Stuart Kettlewell's reign. What now for Killy? Meanwhile, there's a huge transfer window about to open.
Listen, it was 3 huge games for him to go in. I think Hearts was a really difficult game. But Celtic, listen, the squad's not good enough for me. The squad's not great.
We'll take a look at what business clubs will want to do and what makes a January window different. And Rangers move up to third in the league after holding off Hibs at Ibrox.
So Curlin, one round the back, header, goal! Fernandes gives Rangers a lead. It's against the run of play, but Rangers do not care.
We've got all the Scottish football news you need right here.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sports Scotland.
Yes, hello and welcome to the podcast today. Another jam-packed day in Scottish football yesterday, and we're joined by 2 brilliant guests to chat through it. First of all, we've got Cillian Sheridan, the former Kilmarnock, Celtic, Motherwell, Dundee. Do you want me to keep going, Cillian, or we've only got 25 minutes? What do you want me to do?
I was just waiting how you were going to make a joke about that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. I'll be honest, it's the same thing every time.
Every time, yeah.
Jagiella, Ballystock, all of them. You good, Cillian? How's life? How's life at Brecon treating you?
Yeah, very good with myself. Brecon were up and down, but yeah, no, good.
I saw you get sent off recently as well. How was that?
It's like...
Let's leave that
Jose
one there.
Mourinho's
I could see the panic.
Jose Mourinho's famous quote, if I speak, I'll get in trouble.
We're also joined this morning by Joe Savage, a football consultant. A lot of you'll know him from his time at Hearts. Joe, how are you? You good?
Yeah, all good, Ray. Yeah, really, really good.
Joe, big question. It says here football consultant. What does that actually mean?
So it's a good question, to be fair. Basically, I work with clubs and other agents, finding players, investors for clubs that are looking to buy clubs, maybe invest, put some money in to help save clubs. I've joined up with an agency just recently, Basic Sports, so I'm more of a football consultant with them now, but previous to that I was kind of consulting for a lot of different people.
And what happens? Do they come to you before you join the agency? Or are you having to go out and go, listen, I've got this player, I'm looking at this. How's it all work?
I think probably I'm quite fortunate, Ray, that I had a decent career and people knew who I was and what I was doing beforehand. So a lot of people would contact me and asking me how I'm getting on, what am I doing now? And I'd say, yeah, I'm kind of looking into this and doing that. And they're like, can you help me find this player? This club in Greece is looking for this, or this club down in England's looking for that. Or we're potentially looking for someone to buy this club. Could you potentially go and speak to possible investors that might look to buy a club and invest and take it from there? So it's all different things, to be fair, Ray.
Sounds fun. If you ever know anyone looking for a roughly 35-year-old Irish striker that's been around the world, let us know. We've got the guy just for you.
Good player, to be fair. I remember Cillian, to be fair.
What do you mean remember?
I'll take me being 35, by the way.
Yeah, I was ballparking. It could be anything. Right, let's get into it. There's plenty to talk about just even from yesterday's football. And we'll start at Rugby Park. Stuart Kettlewell leaves a job at Kilmarnock after 10 games without a league win. Cillian, surprised to see this or not?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was a game where it was probably a little bit against them, where it was all, if they were to go and beat Aberdeen like that, it would have been a great result for them. So I get a feeling that maybe the board probably had their mind made up beforehand, that they were just kind of waiting for that result to happen for them to actually go and pull the trigger. It didn't look like things were going to turn. I don't think they've been on a terrible run. Anytime I watched them, didn't really look as if things had changed or anything like that. And then I just felt like a lot of it kind of went quite under the radar. I think because Livingston have had started halfway through the season, and then Dundee there's always a lot of noise around there with the fans and stuff over Stephen Presley. So it was probably, I felt like Kilmarnock were just kept kind of going under the radar a little bit. And then you just kind of see their position in the table and be like, God, they're actually doing pretty bad. And then ultimately he's ended up paying for it now. So for me, I don't think there was a massive surprise. Possibly the only surprise is that they've done it. Feels like they've acted very quickly and swiftly. They probably haven't waited for things to get worse or before it's saving. So no. Basically, I'm not really surprised.
No,
to be honest.
It's an interesting point you've made. For Joe, what do you think about this? Because obviously you've had experience kind of higher up with this. 10 games out of win. Stuart Kettlewell will point to issues with his control. They had the goalkeeping crisis. They had lots of injuries, Marcus Dackers. But I think as well, like Cillian said, it's a very odd time of year to be looking for a new manager. Obviously, do you think Killie have done that because they want to go into the January transfer window with a new boss? We've seen Wilfried Nancy comes in. If you don't have players with your style that fit, the managerial doesn't work. Do you think that's factored into it?
I think quite a few things, Ray. I agree with Cillian, but also it's a results-driven business. They need to win games, and if you're not winning, it puts the pressure on you. I also think you have to factor in that Ross County parted ways with Tony Docherty, and I think Kilmarnock, as much as Ross County are in the league below, I think Kilmarnock and Ross County will probably be looking at similar type managers, probably for the budgets that they've got. And I think Kelly have looked at that and went, potentially Ross County could go and get a manager that we probably like, or we might like. And it's made their decision to move it quicker. In terms of the transfer window, that's exactly why they've done it just now. They've looked at it and went, this isn't going to change. It's not going to get much better. We now need to make a change to give the new guy possibly the full month to strengthen the squad and to push away. And as Cillian obviously just said there, Killie are quite lucky at the moment. They've got Livingston and Dundee below them and in and around them. So they've got that chance to maybe bring a new guy in, make a couple of changes, and then see where they can go from there.
Yeah, who they get in is going to be really, really interesting. Chris Doolan, my beloved Chris Doolan, is an interim charge. In a really odd coincidence, a similar situation to how he became Thistle boss. I think at Thistle he was under 18s manager for about a month, and then Ian McCall got sacked and he came in. Right now, I don't think he'd even been appointed as a Kilmarnock under, I think it was going to be 19s manager. Cillian, do you think Chris is a contender for the job permanently, or will they be looking further afield, do you think?
I don't know. I think he's sometimes you might see appointments like that where a club might have it in the back of their mind where if we appoint him at some role within the club, we know he's probably a steady hand to ever be a caretaker, or he can step up if things go wrong. So it's probably, in terms of that, he was probably a good, safe appointment for that role. I don't know where they'll be looking at if they're going for a new permanent manager. Obviously, Chris Doolan could step in, have a great interim period, and then the club are kind of stuck. Well, not stuck with it, but it kind of forces their hand in making a decision. And it's probably easier for them if he steps in, does really well. It probably takes a lot of pressure off them in making a decision.
Yeah.
So it's probably like, you could even look at probably the way Partick Thistle have gone this season as well. Like Mark Wilson, I don't think a lot of people would have thought or seen them going so well. So it's probably like anything. Someone could come in from left field and do really well, or someone could be there under their nose the whole time, like a Chris Doolan. So it'll be interesting to see who they go for, if they go for someone different or they go for the usual kind of that managerial merry-go-round.
Yeah, I've just said,
guys.
I looked, because when Chris got appointed yesterday, I had a look. Next few fixtures, they've got Falkirk at home, St Mirren away, Dundee away, Hibs at home, Livingston away. That's actually not that bad a run of fixtures. When you look at the managerial odds for the new manager, you've got Chris Doolan's currently Bookie's favourite. That's just because it's easy. Stephen Naismith's linked, which does make sense with the Kilmarnock link. Obviously, it's his job. And then it goes down to your usual Peter Leven, Alan Archibald, who was assistant manager there before, John Carver, Chris Burke, Kevin Thompson. It seems like they don't really know. Joe, who do you think will go in? You got an idea in mind?
I thought they would have went for someone like a Robbie Nielsen. I thought they would have asked the question of Robbie. That would have been sort of my first thought. I thought Stephen Naismith as well, because he where he's based, and I know from working with Nazy at Hearts, he had a good relationship with the board there. Your Peter Leaving one's obviously a good shout as well, because he'd done so well steadying the ship at Aberdeen for them. But just to touch on what Cillian said, it's an interesting one for Chris Doolan, because if he does do well, and he does, and you've just said it, they're favourable fixtures for anyone, let's be fair. It's not like it's Celtic, Rangers, Hearts and Hibs. So Chris could go in there, he could do well, and you never know. Like, it's your job until someone else tells you it's not. And it's obviously just interim at the moment, but if he gets in there and gets a good sort of impact and good reaction from the players, then stranger things have happened. Let's be fair, that managers get the jobs from different views and different ways. So I think that he should be looking at this thinking that this is a golden opportunity. I would imagine Chris was trying to get other jobs previous to this. He was getting in as the under-19s coach, is that right?
I think it was under-19s, yep.
And he's landed on his feet, but it's a perfect sort of situation, opportunity for him now to grasp it with both hands and put his name firmly in the hat for it.
Yeah, I think we'll be talking much more about the Kilmarnock job over the next few days when news come in, so keep tuned for that. Let's talk about January, which looks to be a tumultuous transfer window. Joe, Cillian, at this point we could talk about numerous clubs. You've got Danny Rowe being open about Rangers needing a rebuild. You've got Wilfred Nancy needing radical changes to the Celtic squad to have them play the style he wants. Hearts have already made a move for Josh McPake. Cillian, as a player, the January transfer window, is that a time when if you're maybe not playing a lot, you're looking for a loan? How, over your career, what's January transfer window meant to you?
I think either way, there's always something there in the back of your mind, unless you're kind of having just an all right average season. You'll kind of, January will come and go like without really any real dramas. Whereas, if you're having a bad season or you're going through a tough time, you're not playing, you'll think, right, well, I just need to get to January, then I can get out, go somewhere, play. Or you might be on a good little run, and then you can eye up January where something could come up here. I've had, where was it? I moved from Cyprus to Poland. That was January transfer window, and that was during a period when I was doing well. And then I've had plenty others where I've been doing bad and been looking to move. So I've probably had that one more often. But it is kind of when you always kind of, you can eye it up maybe a month beforehand. Not maybe eye it up, but kind of it always gives you something there in the back of your head where if things aren't going well, okay, January I can get out. Or you might have a loan move that isn't going well, and it's just until January, and then January things can change. You can go somewhere else. So it is generally like that. It's probably the same as like players' form and stuff can change so dramatically, and circumstances can change so quickly that it is every 4 or 5 months. You're just waiting for a window.
Yeah, I think the perfect example of that is Josh McPake, who, by all accounts, last season was a bit up and down. This season, he's been electric. So many goal contributions, goals or assists. Hearts have already moved to sign him. Joe, Hearts, your former club, currently league leaders. What else do they need to continue the title push? I can't remember his name. They've got Kazakhstani or Uzbekistani right back coming in.
Yeah, Chesnikov.
Do you see them making any other moves?
I do, Ray. I think that they're in a position of strength and power at the moment, so I think you'll see them flex their muscles here. I think they'll really look to get. Listen, I don't know what you guys think, but I think they can win the league. Hearts, I think that the results, the last 2 results have been brilliant for them, beating Celtic and beating Falkirk. 2 difficult games, difficult teams, especially Celtic, of course. And I think now looking at what they're doing and how they're doing in-house, they'll be quietly confident in having a good season. I'd always said, because I was at a funeral for Gary Kirk last week, and I was speaking to the staff there, and I was saying that, yeah, you want to win the league, but if they can finish second in the league, it's still a brilliant, brilliant season. But now they've went and beat Celtic and they're 6 points clear, and Celtic have got the 2 games in hand. But they've already beat Celtic twice. They've beat Rangers. I think come January they'll be looking to. I think Derek McInnes is a good manager. He knows what he's doing. He's experienced in the league. They'll look to strengthen. They'll look to really, and that's the beauty of the Jamestown, the analytics, is that it's able to identify just what Cillian's saying there now, like in terms of the player point of view. From the analytics point of view, they're able to identify players from their rating 3-4 months in advance. So Hearts already know who they're trying to sign 3 months before the window closes. It's all done and dusted. Chesnikov, they've been trying to sign for a long time, and he's meant to be one of the best players out in Kazakhstan, as you said. So I think they'll strengthen. I think that clearly you've seen them talking about the need for a right back. So they'll do the right back. They've got Chesnikov, potential McPake signing a pre-contract. The biggest thing about a transfer window, Ray, is you don't want to weaken your team. You want to strengthen your team. So the hard part is you're often paying a premium for a player. You're often going in, say Cillian had scored 20 goals just now, and as he says, he'd been performing really, really well. The club won't want to lose him, so they'll be sitting saying, well, he might be worth £500,000, and they're saying, well, we want £1 million because that £1 million helps us find a replacement in a short space of time, because we weren't expecting to lose Cillian, but he's just went and scored 6 goals in his last 8 games. It's pushed him right up. It's pushed his numbers up, and everyone's went, oh, Cillian's the top striker, let's go and get Cillian. And then Cillian's got 5 offers on the table for him, and Cillian can then pick what he wants salary-wise, contract length and things like that. So that then leads you as a club to think, right, we're only strengthening if it's right for us, but we don't want to lose our player unless we know we've got someone lined up. And again, that's probably the beauty of Hearts' Jamestown, is they're already ahead of Celtic, they're already ahead of Rangers, because it's 2 new managers in there, probably a new recruitment group. Hearts don't have that issue.
I was thinking about that when we're talking about Rangers with the whole chief executive thing as well. It seems like they've removed a whole level. Cillian, for yourself, any clubs you expect to have a busy window?
I think probably the clubs that need to are the obvious. I think Celtic need to have a busy one. Possibly outgoings as well. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Rangers probably need to bring in players for Danny Roll. And then Hearts, I don't think Hearts will do loads. I don't think Derek McInnes really is the kind of manager who would also want to. I know he's quite big on people and characters and squads. I don't think he'll be looking to really upset too many things there. I think he'll look to strengthen where they can, but I don't think they're in as a desperate need as possibly Celtic and Rangers. And then other than that, I think it'll just be a lot of clubs kind of just will maybe pick up players that they can pick up. It'll probably be, I'd imagine, a lot of loan deals and stuff like that. But I think, like, it's stating the obvious. I think Celtic at the minute probably really need to. I think they need a big window. I think the board, everyone's under pressure. The manager will be under pressure to obviously change things. He'll say, "Well, I need my players to play my style and my system." So it's just about how much he's going to be backed, I think.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch. Like, as you pointed out, Joe, 2 Old Firm clubs who going through new managers. As a Partick Thistle fan, it's very enjoyable to watch the fans hate it. I love it. Joe, from your time in football, January's transfer window, summer window, whether it's your job at Hearts, scouting before, who's the one that got away? You close to anyone you thought, and it just never worked out?
Oh, now you've put me right on the spot with that one. There's always been a few from our Hearts' point of view. We'd held an interest in Luke McCowan. Our recruitment department had always liked Luke McCowan, but it quickly became apparent that he was probably going the next level above. I think now with the Jamestown, Luke McCowan for Hearts is much more appealing because of the investment in that. But back when we were there, we didn't have the Tony Bloom investment, so we wouldn't have been able to afford Luke. We also liked the South Korean striker O that went to Celtic. we were into him a year before Celtic took him. He was big, he was quick, he was powerful, he'd run in behind, you could take the ball in, but again, just priced out the money over there, South Korean money. Like the players are in better money than people actually realise in Asia, especially in Japan and South Korea. So they're probably two that I can think of at the top of my head. But it's just one of the ones, really. Like, everyone's got a story to tell. Every scout could turn around and say, I tried to sign him or I tried to sign that. That's the easy part of scouting's the identification. That's the easy part, is turning around and saying, I think he's a good player. Trying to get the deals over the line is the hardest part. And especially in January, it can be really, really difficult because there's also a thing called especially if you're trying to sign players from abroad, like we have the GBE, so we have to go for a panel in Scotland to get players into the country from South Korea, Japan, Germany. They have to have got reach the point system. If they don't reach the point system, which is 15 points for an automatic pass, it then goes to a panel where, funnily enough, like this, you sit and you have to do a presentation to the board members to talk about the reason why you think you should be signing that player. So they're only penciled in, from what I remember, they're only every Thursday, once a week. And you find when you're speaking to the SFA guys, you're saying, look, can we book a sort of case in? And they're like, we might have to do this time or that time because there's 5 or 6 teams that are already trying to get a player signed. And historically, it's Celtic that are really big in the January market, because especially under Ange, they were trying to sign a lot of players from the Asian market. So in the Japanese league especially, that league's finished now, so the players are ready and waiting. So Celtic, we often used to find it funny because when we would speak to the SFA, they'd be like, yeah, we've got Sunday, we've got this day, we've got that day, but you need to do 3 o'clock, you need to do 5 o'clock. We're like, yeah, a Celtic get 2 or 3 in, and they're like, we can't say. We can't say that. Yeah, we can tell that they have, but it's just things like that you need to bear in mind as well.
It sounds funny that Celtic's scouting system, it seems over the past few years, was just hoping you left notes on a train and then they'll sign McCowan and O straight after. Finally, let's reflect on last night's action at Rangers and Hibs. Rangers up to third, yet another grinding out of a win from Danny Rowe's side. A lot of clean sheets, Cillian. Rangers face Hearts next. I saw Danny Rowe's comments after the game. That's going to be a real test of how much they've improved. How do you see it going next week? Do you think Rangers can make a dent in Hearts' title bid?
It's probably a strange one where I'd say Hearts are probably favourites. I think Hearts have got to the stage where they've shown they're beating the two big teams. They can kind of grind out results as well. I feel like the first half against Celtic, they maybe rode their luck a little bit, but then were resolute and kind of stayed in the game, get their goal, and then kind of from there probably grew into the game. So the fact they know they can do that against Celtic and Rangers, I think will give them confidence. I think Rangers probably, like you said, clean sheets. That was the one thing they needed to improve on. Danny Rowe has probably come in and done that. Attacking wise, probably still questions to be asked about them, but it's weird to kind of think and talk about Hearts in these kind of games probably being favourites.
Yeah, it's funny.
Kind of is testament to where they are. They deserve to have that tag or to be the favourites. So yeah, it's weird to actually consider them as the favourites in a game like this.
It's funny when you said that, I just started nodding as them favourites because they are just now. This clean sheet thing is fascinating because I think that's 5 clean sheets under Danny Rowe, and a lot of time when you watch them, the centre back pairing are disastrous at points of Giga and Fernandes. I saw lots of Rangers fans on social media last night talking about Fernandes as an enigma after some awful marking midweek, and then he gets the goal last night. Hibs played well. David Gray was lamenting the fact they didn't create much in the final third. They'll be disappointed not to have tested that makeshift Rangers defence, really. And they're there. Joe, how do you rate their season for Hibs so far?
Do you know what? I think, I watched the game last night that you guys did as well. Hibs are a good side. They're a difficult side. You can see they're well organised. They've got a good structure behind them. They've got good players within the structure. it was a good game yesterday, and from a tactical point of view, I think it was a tight game. In my opinion, one goal was always going to sort of win it. I think Hibs will be disappointed with the goal that they conceded, and obviously I agree with David Gray when he says that they just didn't create enough. But I think Hibs, listen, I think the league come from January onwards, I think it could be a special league, because Aberdeen have picked up form. Hibs have, what the poor result against Motherwell a couple of weeks ago, but then they come back again, won a few games since then. Obviously losing last night's disappointing for them. Killian's just touched upon Hearts. Celtic need to pick up form. Dundee United need to pick up form. I think going into next 2026, it could be an absolute crackery of a season, because so many teams have still got so much to play for. And now, the one thing that we had at Hearts was anytime we get put out a cup with Hearts, it was Rangers or Celtic that put us out. That invincibility seems to have kind of gone from them. Celtic have lost the Scottish Cup to Aberdeen. They've lost the League Cup to St Mirren. I think everyone now in the league's looking at us going, we can win this Scottish Cup. And that for me makes it really exciting for the rest of the campaign. And going on Hibs, like that should be Hibs' aim. Finish top 3, top 4, and try and get the cup, try and win the cup. That should be probably everyone in the Premier League's. Like if St Mirren can do it, and I think St Mirren have done brilliant to win the League Cup, why can't nobody else do it now? It's going to be such an interesting end to the season now.
Yeah, I'm obviously a Thistle fan. As you were saying, we can win the cup. I was like, yeah, we can. And then I've
why not?
Yeah, why not? Because I've seen us play, and I don't know if you noticed, we lost 2-1 to Arbroath the other day. That's all we get time for. Many thanks to Cillian and Joe, and thank you for listening. Remember, we're here with new episodes of the Scottish Football Podcast bright and early every day, so to make sure you don't miss out, subscribe on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on in your phone. Like we said at the start of the show, yesterday was a fascinating day in Scottish football. You have Kilmarnock lose a manager, Rangers Hibs, the transfer window coming up, Ross County looking for a manager. It's going to get squeaky bum time for a few other clubs, the January transfer window. Keep listening to the podcast. We're going to have amazing new episodes every day, because let's be honest, Scottish football is wonderful. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.
For everything you need to know about your team this season, download the BBC Sport app. All the latest news, goal updates, stats and scores, and insight and analysis. Just select your club to get the biggest stories and best content at your fingertips. What a result. Download the BBC Sport app for everything you need to know about your team this season.